Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be a showcase on the new green Piper plate. I'm going to use it on 8 different people in this video. It's extremely good on at least 6 of them, and possibly, depending what you want to do, maybe a couple I wouldn't think about using it on personally, but I thought people would want to see it. So, of course, it's the ultimate plate, the Piper's Power Green. Whenever you make 4 or more Pyro Gems, increase all of your gem damage by 100% and your green gem damage by 500% for 1 turn. It's a super OP plate. It's going to make people hit much harder than they did before and make some people that had movesets that weren't necessarily usable, completely usable. It's a very good plate. Just get that out of the water right now. Out of the way right now. It's an amazing plate. So it's one you're going to want to obtain when you can. So yeah, I'm not going to go into a ton of details on the builds. There's probably other builds, other ways you could play them. I think if you're going to use a plate like this, you should seek to speed the character up a bunch, make them faster than they could be otherwise. So I'm not interested in hitting the hardest with these at all. I'm not going to try to hit as hard as I can. I'm going to try to be fast and efficient with them. So do with that what you will. Either way, by the end of this, you should have a really good baseline for how it's going to perform. If you get the plate on a character, you have. So anyway, first we're going to do ladies first. I got 3 ladies we're going to use it on. We're going to start with Mae Young. This account is the CC account. It has the moment, so that's adding 50% green gem damage, worth noting. The strap is going to be the same for all of it. Once in a while, I'll change the primary plate. 100% strap, 40% fury, just a red percentage because, not interested in skewing any of the damage. So no fury 3s because it, wouldn't provide a realistic outcome, as you guys know if you've watched my videos much. Anyway, we're using the slap, the scoop slam, and the rope back breaker knee. That's a mouthful. Basically, it's the, tried and true moveset for her. Nothing new there, not reinventing the wheel. CM Punk for the yellow. Everything's a feud ready build too. So yeah, green gem damage. You're going to see these 2 trainers in most of these videos, right? Or coaches rather, because they're just what's good. So I'll throw a primary plate on this one when we're done with this. I'll put the Maze Crown on as well. But really easy moveset. Increase your MP. Throw your pyros on the bottom row, and greens are up to 716k. And that's before the buff. And then blow up the bottom row, which blows up the board, and then does 68 million gem damage with May without the primary. Obviously, that's faster than using a Maze Crown, but the damage is right. Probably you wouldn't want to be any lower than that, right? So this way is faster than Maxine, it's faster than Charlotte Flair, but it doesn't hit as hard. Those are the other 2 people we're going to see it on. If you add the Maze Crown, it obviously is going to hit harder, but then it's going to slow it down, right? So if you're trying to debate which lady to put it on, if you use the Maze Crown, like maybe you got a 150 strap for her or something. Anyway, if you end up using Maze Crown, then I don't think she's the one. If you have Charlotte or Maxine, they're probably better options, right? But maybe you don't have them at the time you get this plate. I know this week, the plate's ridiculously overpriced and expensive. Not anything I can even remotely afford, nor would I spend for at that price point it looks to be. I could be off, but it looks like it's many hundreds of dollars. But later, see, there's 119 million with the Maze Crown. So obviously it does a ton more damage, does slow it down a little bit, but certainly makes her viable all over the place. So there's that. All right. We're just going to keep it fast and simple. There's 1 or 2 where I'll put some different trainers on to show low end and top end, because who knows when you get this plate. Right now it looks extremely whaley, but maybe it's on realistic prize walls later. So we're going to experiment a little bit, simply because, this video will hopefully be a resource for people long term. So we're going to use Maxine. This account does have the moment, no surprise since we just saw it, and it does have her gear. The gear is adding 100% reinforced gem damage, which is the same as Yoko. which is a little bit, but it's not an insane amount. And then let me remove this basic plate. You would not want to put any kind of gem chucker on Maxine with this because she's going to hit hard enough already. And then some. Traditional moveset, right? The reinforces, the percentage green, and then, you know, the make the pyros blue, blow up the board, win the match. Lawler, ricochet, so you're loaded turn 1 in all modes if there's no MP down. And then we got, again, Austin for 40% rainbow, and then Yoko for 100% reinforced. If you don't have Yoko, then you'd use Zombie Chelsea for 40%. Not the end of the world. It's actually fairly close, damage-wise, so you wouldn't be losing that much. Her gameplay loop is also very simple. You put the reinforces down, the pyros down, you hit the buff, and then you go boom. And that's 125 million. You're still going to be well over 100 million even without the gear. So yeah, obviously it's great. She hits way more than hard enough to win. So, you know, Bob's your uncle. Now let's move to Charlotte Flair. Bow down to the queen. Obviously this is going to hit hard. If you ever gear, it'll hit harder. I'm showing a gearless build just because it's easy to do because your gear is MP related. Triple blue, the usual. Lawler, Rizar, and then Chelsea and Austin. Like I said, you're going to see him a bunch. So we're hitting the buff. We're putting the pyros down, and then we're blowing the board up twice with the spear, and then choosing to put the things in the area to explode the pyros, right? So you can see we did 75 million there, and 52 million there. So what's that? 125 million. Yeah, that'll work. All right, now on to the dudes. As you can see, this is a very powerful plate. This is probably the most underwhelming of all of the builds I have for you guys, but it's still interesting enough that I think it's worth showing. Legendera, Cowboy Bob, only Cowboy Bob, potential requirement at times. You know, so I think it's worth showing. This account does have both moments, so keep that in mind. They make a difference. The WrestleMania one adds 100% more gem damage, and of course the 50% reduction. And the Summer of Champions adds 100% more damage, so now we're up to 200%, and then 100% gem reduction. That's a lot of boosting going on. We're going to run triple green with Bob, and to get it loaded, we are running Roxanne, Steel, Santa, so you're loaded in feud, and then we're using Hogan for 100% on the immobile gems, right? And so 25 of those gems are boosted an additional 100%. Austin's a little bit less, but not a ton less, but definitely a little bit less. This one is the, like I said, the least impressive. Oh, this is without the nearing end first, and then I'll put the nearing end on and show you with that. So this is without it, just the ultimate, since I forgot to put it on. Whoops, bad Mherex. Right, so this is without the nearing end. And in fact, you could basically two-click this with Austin without the nearing end, but you're going to see the damage isn't there, right? Also, we lose a row of greens because it's a 2x7, so that hurts him a little bit too. And that was only 38 mil. Obviously, with the nearing end, we're going to hit a lot harder. So you wouldn't run this without the nearing end as well, or the moments, for sure. And let's put the nearing end on now and do this right. The next one, the next video after this is probably the person that gets the biggest come up from it. and allows you to run them a much more efficient way. So that'll be interesting, I think. All right, here's at the nearing end. Which of course is reinforced gems and then do 350, or sorry, mobile gems, then do 350% more gem damage. So we're getting the Piper boost and then an additional 350 from the nearing end. So that 38 million is going to shoot right on up. To 50 million. Like I said, the least impressive, but I thought people might want to see it, but the least impressive. So, biggest come up is definitely on Batista. I'm going to show you guys two different ways. First way, not Mherex proof. Second way, Mherex proof, less damage, right? And then I'll show you some different trainers as well on Batista, because this first setup is very friendly trainer-wise. In fact, if it's not Bailey, it could also just as easily be, what's his butt? Zombie Gunther, and the damage really wouldn't make any difference. There's just a few red gems and they're not multiplies. So, yeah, this is more in case you get this plate later on. Obviously, anyone that gets it now is going to be a super whale. So, but later on, maybe you get it and you're more free to play. So this will be a more friendly moveset, although Roxanne, maybe not free to play unless you get lucky, but they just sold her for $20, which is a steal for a coach like that. She's easily worth 20. One of the best purchases you could make. Anyway, long story short, we're going to use Roxanne and Liv for 2 multiply and 2 green. That gets us loaded, the green spear loaded, right? So the thing is, if you don't have Roxanne, you can just substitute steel, and then you would have to do 2-3 matches and then take Bailey off and use NWO Hogan. So you wouldn't lose, you'd lose some damage for sure, right? But anyway, this gets us loaded in feud. Roxanne's for our turn is 5. We only have to choose 3 to get the red loaded. So it's very safe-ish for a choose. 3 is as close as you can get to being safe, but obviously there will be times when you cascade. So just choose a 3 red match, doesn't really matter where. 1 row into pyro gems, yes, only 1. Chuck 18 random multiplies out. And then blow up the board for that green gem damage. You see, we did 99 million with Batista. Free superstar. Do you have the moment though? Let me show you what I have on him, and then there's another build for him, and I'm also going to show you better trainer setup, or coach setup rather, for this build. It's his high-end damage, but not as safe. So we do have the moment, and we do have his gear. Honestly, his gear's doing jack all for this. 200% pyro gem damage. We don't really care about it. It's on 7 gems that aren't multiplies or green, so we really don't care, to be honest. But it is there. All right, so the adjustment is if you have Howdy. Howdy is ridiculous on this moveset. Now it's 24 multiply gems. And you can see the outcome here is going to be big. 123 million on Batista. My goodness. All right, now I don't like that because you can cascade, so here's the Mherex proof build. You use Roxanne and then you switch to Andre. Now this is also Whaley. We're going to put Leo on here. And you can also use Howdy instead of Leo. In fact, let me show you. So right now we have 18 times 9, right? And so let's get the calculator out. Clear. 18 times 9, 162 gems versus Howdy. Who I didn't use before, so I can't find him in previous. What did I say the first one? Anyway, 24 times 6, 144. I think Leo is more. I don't even remember what I said. I'm pretty sure it's 160 something though. Anyway, this is the Mherex proof build, so you can see we need 8 MP. So 4 red, 4 green, 6 red, 4 green. Your turn is 5 and 7, and then Santa is 6 and 8. So you're loaded in feud and all modes actually, unless there's MP down. Which means you don't have to choose. And you guys know I like that. Also speeds the build up a little bit, which you guys know I like. So spear, don't have to place. Pop that down. Yep. Multiplies go out. Yep, yep. And then you blow the board up. Faster, safer, simpler, more whaley though. That's a nice cascade. That's 115 million. Yeah, that dog will hunt. All right, moving along, Zsami, his original triple green, is now back in play. Of course, there are other ways you can do this with the multiply gems if you want to gamble, swipe, blah, 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 take longer, etc. Once in a blue moon, potentially get screwed, which I'm not interested in. And yeah, when there's no reason to, because this build will hit hard enough. This does have both moments, neither of which do jack for this build. I will show you. It does have his gear. You will want his gear. His gear adds 100% all color gem damage. This moment does nothing for this moveset. I mean, I guess the pyro gems on the bottom, but that's next to nothing. It's 7 gems. And this moveset does absolutely nothing. Or this moment. So they're not really affecting it much, so no worries if you don't have those. Also, I should level these moves. It is worth noting too that this 200% lasts for multiple turns, which potentially is nice in different boss battles where you can potentially get screwed a bit. I suppose. But again, same kind of coaches, trainers for this. So triple green, Steiner for 2 and 50%, and then 40, right? Yeah. I think by this time you guys are like, okay, there's going to be a lot of green in this video. Yes, there is. Lots of green. So this moveset was doing, I want to say, like 60-ish mil probably without the Piper plate. It just really wasn't usable anymore in feud, didn't hit hard enough. And now, unless there's a green gem buff, now it definitely does. It's simple, straightforward, easy, 98 million with a 100% strap, right? We're not done with Zsami, though. The Dudenator has a triple green as well. So let's bring the Dudenator in. This is actually probably my favorite card in the whole game because I'm a Zsami mark, and there's so much you can do with this card. 3 viable movesets. This is probably my least favorite, even with this plate, but it hits really hard. Really hard. You just have to mess with the board a little bit more, which would be why it's my least favorite, but he can do a lot of stuff. No big deal if you don't have Viscera. He's not hardly adding anything. He's adding 60% more on 7 gems. You would just replace it with Austin. Not a big deal at all. It's basically the exact same setup as Zombie Zsami. But the Viscera I just put on to show you guys something different. Triple green, blah, blah, blah. Gem buff green, blow board up, you know, etc. Right? Does have the moment. You should probably call that into account, which adds exactly 50% less damage from all color gems, so it's doing jack all for this as well. So yeah, if you get Dudenator Zsami, consider yourself lucky. He's easily my favorite showboat in the game. All right, so he's got a bunch of unblockable too, with these leech gems on the bottom. There's only 7 of them. but they're strength 4 million. So he's got 28 million unblockable before he even gets started, right? And then we get the green gem buff. And then you destroy the bottom. This is a very unique build. Destroy the board, and then the pyros fall. And then he destroys the pyros and makes the board green. So we did like, what, 50 million there and then 82 million there. It's like 130 million with 28 million unblockable. Quite good. And that might be probably my least favorite Zsami build, even with the green plate. So finally, this was I think my first thought. Everybody's first thought was Ilja. He's already ridiculous. I already could 2-click him on my account. I'm not going to show the 3-click damage because why? I mean, literally, if you get something like this plate, why would you not speed Ilja up? Why take longer? Why let more reversals be out there? Potentially, as you guys know, using MP up is a fairly big reversal move, just like gem buff is. So with Ilja, all you have to worry about potentially is the multiply gems, right? Combo move on the finisher, so I'd have to fight somebody with multiply reverse with Ilja to find out, because, that's kind of hit or miss on finishers how that goes. So anyway, long story short, this hits really hard. This is the more friendly trainers for this, and then I will show you with Howdy, which hits way, way harder if you have Howdy. But it's your standard 2-click, Steel, Roxanne, Santa, and then Chelsea for multiplying green. You definitely want Chelsea here. And then you don't have to use the MP up. Have the moment for Ilja as well, which certainly doesn't hurt. But it's a ridiculous 2-click. Quite good, quite fast, hits very hard, even without Howdy. Again, I was 2-clicking him already. That's 168 million without Howdy. Wait till we put Howdy on. And when you see, if you're hitting for 100, guys, if you're hitting for 168 million, why would you ever do an extra click to hit harder? You don't need to hit harder than that, right? You simply don't. Even in boss battle, it wouldn't be worth it. You'd be better off just 2-clicking and getting right back to it, so you could get the pyro gem buff again, right? There's literally no reason, if you get this plate on Ilja, to ever not run 2-click unless you don't have Roxanne. Right? There's literally zero reason to take longer. He does more than you will ever need, even without this plate. So I don't, yeah. My brain says, why would you do that? And the answer it comes up with is not nice, so I'm not going to say it. This is faster, more efficient, less chances to be reversed. And as you can see here with Howdy, 213 million, right? So, but all right, so this plate is nuts. It's OP. This is what cracks me up when we get characters that get nerfed when Scopely says they're too strong, right? I mean, you're looking at literally a 2-click tech doing 213 million damage right here, right? Just think about that for a second. 213 million damage on 2 clicks tech. So when the next character comes out, and they 2-click and it's like 70 or 80 or 90 million or 150 million, which would probably be more realistic, and then they get nerfed down, I will point to stuff like this and be like, yo guys, are you crazy? You introduce meta breaking plates all the time, and it's just huge overkill that we don't need on this plate. Like literally, you don't need to hit this hard. So the plate's insane, right? Every color, if they do this for all the colors, is going to be insane. You're going to want to get them if you can. You're taking people in, like, in the case of like Batista, you're like doubling his damage output from what he could possibly do before. In Ilja's case, you're not quite doubling it, but you're probably adding what on the 2-click with Howdy? I don't know, like, gosh, maybe you are close to doubling it, right? Like, it's just, it's crazy. This plate's amazing. All the Piper plates are going to be amazing. You're going to want to get them anytime you can, if it's within your means, without doing something stupid, right? So let me know what you think in the comments. These plates are nuts. Yeah, Yeah, I'll try and do videos like this for the plates when I have time. This takes a lot of time for one video, but I think it's probably worth it. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. That was a lot of people in a short amount of time. Whew.